Hi, Amy Shannon, the Rock Nerd. And I had a video that I had showed that was about some unfinished projects. So this video is going to be dedicated to my rock rainbow project. I've already showed a video of how I got it started, but I'm going to kind of go over that again, and then through the process I'm going to continue to record, and at the end we'll see what happens. I'll unveil it and see if it works or not. So this is my rock rainbow, and at the current time I am doing a line of red rocks. What I had done is I created a mold out of several pieces of cardboard. I made an arc, pinned it to a piece of cardboard to hold it in that place, and then I used these little map pins to secure it to that cardboard, and then again to this cardboard. That way I could move it without having it to get all screwed up or broken or anything. Then and this is my favorite paint, or excuse me, glue, my favorite glue, and I love this glue because it goes on white but it dries clear. So what I've done is I took a piece of plastic, and actually I use these plastic covers that are for like vinyl 45 records. I only needed a couple for some records I had, and then I had a lot of these left over, and then I realized that they're so durable that I could use them in some way. So I figured out a way to do it. I covered my new mold, that's cardboard, in the plastic, and then I painted this glue on it. I was hoping to use it as a non-sticking agent, so when everything is finished and I take it off, hopefully, and I'm praying, that I will actually have just an arch of rocks and not have to have something underneath it. So we'll see what happens. So I have gold, kind of a dark pink, and these are kind of smooth. The purple, I had added glitter. And if you watch my video on my painting rock techniques, you can see how the different colors are made. Some I do one color. Sometimes if I want a texture, I add some glitter. It gives some texture and a little sparkly. Other times I just want one main color, and sometimes I want to do more than one. And it kind of comes out as a marble effect, but you can, if you watch that video on rock painting techniques, you'll be able to see what I mean. So I am going to take a red rock, because we still have this row, and they're not, they're not even, and it doesn't have to be, because, well, I couldn't make things straight if I wanted to with my tremors and things, but this, I like it. It helps me with my dexterity. So if I'm shaking, it's not the camera, it's just me. And then I put a little glue and position the rock in its next spot, and I hold it just for a second so it'll stick there and not slide. The hardest ones are when you get on the bottom, and you want to make sure that the first one you put in will be stable and maybe large enough to hold, to be able to carry it over. So I will continue this project and keep going as things progress. So thank you.
we have completed putting all the rocks on the rock rainbow. So this is all new to me, so I'm trying different techniques, see what works, see what doesn't work. Anything that doesn't work, I reuse for something else. So fingers crossed, the next step that I'm going to do to complete this, it still has a couple steps that I want to go through. So the next step is getting a plastic container and an old, not that old, an old paintbrush. It doesn't have to be this big, but I either have these or small ones. So what I'm going to do is I have some glue somewhere. I'm going to use, well, it's got a rock in it. Anyways, I'm going to use some glue from here, but I'm going to pour it in a plastic container so it'll be easier to use. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to put some glue in here. Now remember, this glue dries clear. So put a bunch in here. It's not that very expensive for this glue. So let's see, I think we have enough right here. Okay, so we have all of our rocks. They've all been laid and glued together. I want to make sure this becomes one full piece, not separated, because a lot of the glue is either glued to the rock next to it, it's glued to the plastic. So I want these to all be glued together. So I'm going to just take my paintbrush and just slowly paint the rocks. And you want to kind of do it in a thick motion and try to get into where all the crevices are, because, and if it drips, you just keep going and fill in, because basically we want this to be glued all together into one piece. Now, I have never used this technique before, so if, as I said, if it works, cool, then I have a new way. I have new things that I can do with rocks and molds, so I can make more rainbows, or I can do other things using my homemade molds. Now, what I used for the homemade molds is cardboard, and I shaped it into the shape I wanted, and then with that, I'm going to have to add more glue here. With that kind of, I shaped it. I took a flat piece of cardboard, and when I made the arch, I actually glued it to, I tacked it to another piece of flat cardboard so it could keep its arch form, and then I put plastic over it, like a plastic storage bag. I use one of those, let's see, get all that out of there. Anyways, I use one of those record, the sheets that are for 45 records. I've used those too. And then I painted glue on it. And what was interesting, that when I did that, it made the plastic kind of brittle, which is kind of, I wasn't expecting that, but it was, it's an interesting effect. So I'm thinking that maybe eventually this, when it comes off, it might just flake off. So when this dries, and I want to make sure I get in all the pieces. So with this technique, everything is painted with glue. And I didn't add anything to the glue. It's just the Aleene's tacky glue that goes on white and stays clear. I find it is easier to work with, and I've probably mentioned this before, than resin. I mean, this probably would have come out just what I wanted to if I used resin, but I just kind of want to make sure it's easy. And though projects like this are time consuming, to me they are worth it, because sometimes I can do one a day, add a rock here and there, and sometimes I can't. So I'm just kind of going in looking for gaps. So this is going to be the first thing that I'm going to do to complete this project. Once it dries, I will look for spaces in between the rocks that may not have gotten glue. Maybe I didn't go completely into it. And then take it from there. If I need to add more glue, I'll do that. If not, we'll see how it goes. And then before we disassemble the mold, I'll put a clear coat on it. All the rocks used were craft rocks that I painted. Well, the rainbow, the rock rainbow has been completed, and I am nervous about what's going to happen when I remove it from the self-made mold. This will let me know if my on-the-spot techniques worked, or if it semi-worked or something like that. So just to recap, I created, I took a piece of solid, very stiff cardboard, and I took a couple pieces of regular cardboard, and I made an arch, and then I put it, with the arch, I put a flat piece in between it, and then I used map pins to let it hold its shape. Once I got to that, I pinned it directly to the flat piece of cardboard. That way, if I had to move it around, I could do that without disturbing anything that I put on it. Then I took a piece of, I took some plastic, which is from the plastic that I used for the 45 records. That it's really durable plastic, and I will probably buy more just for my crafts whenever I run out. And then slowly, little by little, one by one, I would glue a rock on, depending on the color. And once I had that completed, when I showed this, it was partially done, because I started the project before I decided to become the rock nerd. So then I finished it the other day, and I basically painted the Alien's tacky glue onto the whole thing. I covered it in glue completely, and this is the glue that it's easy to use. It is very it's very durable, and what I love about it is that it goes on white, and then when it's dry, it's clear. So this is the moment of truth, and I have no idea what's going to happen. It'll, you know, if it fails, it fails, but then I learn something from it fails, and I just figure out why. So here is the unveiling. Okay, so I have to figure out the best way to remove it, so I'm going to see what I can do about just getting the plastic undone and remove these little map pens, and since they are filled with glue, I'm just going to put them in this container here for kind of trash. Map pins are a dime a dozen. So there's that. And I am going to, as you can see, I've never done this before. So it is very interesting how this is going to come out. So, yeah, and I found a loose rock. So let's see how that works out. Let me try. I have an X-Acto knife kit. It's a great kit that I bought on Amazon, and very sharp, so you have to be very careful, especially me because I have tremors. So I'm going to try to cut. Well, I'll cut the inside here because the plastic goes. Look, goes all the way around here. So we get this started. I'll just breaking this part away. So as you can see, you can see the mold where it was. Then I'm going to go to the other side, which basically it was just where it was folded. But I'm going to pull out the plastic and I'm going to cut around it to get rid of all this loose plastic stuff. And this one shows there's a little glue. It might be still damp. Sometimes if it's buried under something. And it helps if you actually use a sharp piece, and it goes in the garbage. So now I have to figure out how to remove the rocks from this mold. So I'm going underneath with this knife to see if something breaks off. It can always be repaired, even if this doesn't work exactly how I envisioned it. You know what? I think I do not want to cut myself. I bought some. I have old skewers, so maybe these will work. I can get these underneath and kind of break the plastic away. And of course, since this is my first time ever doing something like this, it's gonna take me forever, but I'm gonna see how this will work, and if it does, I will make a note of it for future projects. So the next part is I worked my way out, so it looks like that would actually come undone. So now I have these pins that I have to remove, or not. Just break that, get that there, and of course I'm making a huge mess. So now we have the mold moved off of. I'm going to grab scissors here, that'd be better. So we got the plastic here. We have more map pins here, and oh my goodness, this is awesome. So the mold is intact, as you can see here, and we have some map pins, so we have to get rid of these so I don't stab, like right there, I just stabbed myself. And oh, just this here, even with the plastic, Morse, that's, so even if the plastic stayed on, this would be very awesome. And I'm thinking that the plastic might be, ow, I did that again. So number one, make sure you get rid of your map pins. I have a couple sticking out right here. And you know what? Yeah, this, I thought this was plastic, but I have to cut out these map pins. And here's one that would be easier to pop out. Well, good. Something went flying, but not that. And then I have one that's in here. And now that I look at what this isn't plastic like I thought. Okay, so I have to take this out. Do not want to get stabbed again. So let's work our way around it. Maybe. Nope. Well, I pulled the pin part out. So it looks like it needs, I just need to do some trimming, which I will do as much as I can. And then I think I am going to spray it. I have this clear coat finish, so the next steps are to trim. So my rock rainbow actually worked, and as I was trimming the excess glue off, I kind of thought maybe the rainbow, for it to look, I don't know, more presentable, would need a like a base that I could put it on. And I'm also going to do, I sprayed it with the clear coat, so that has to dry. So I think my next step would be to, I take a look at the mold and I measure this particular square here, outline it, and then use this to, this as a bottom, so to speak, you know, to have it as a base underneath it. So that'll be the next step before it's actually completed. But I am so happy that when I removed it, it worked, because that means now I can do more of these particular projects, and I think they're
they're just beautiful. I've been doing the rock balls and rock art, but this is something that, besides the rock balls, I think this is kind of a unique project. So stay tuned, and I will show you how I am going to do the base. It probably will take a lot less time because I can put more than one rock at a time on a base. So we'll see what happens. Thank you. One. So I am preparing the base for my rainbow. I just sprayed the outside with clear coat because of the completeness inside of it. It doesn't need to have a clear coat on the inside. So that while that is drying, I'm going to create a base mold using my original mold, which seems to work. So I am going to be using this in the future, making more rainbows, or half rainbows, or whatever. And maybe I'll come up with a smaller size or a larger size, but we'll see how that works. So the first thing I needed to do is I'm going to have to create my mold out of, I'm going to just use a piece of cardboard. I really do a lot of collecting on my cardboard. So here is the mold on my base. So I am going to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm just reaching here, just grabbing a paint pen, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to just making it a little bigger, and this is not working. Okay. How about a regular marker? Okay, so I'm going to make it bigger than the rock base itself. Once that dries, I'm going to put it, I'm kind of going around a little bit past these map pins, and it's not perfect, but neither am I. So then I will cut this piece out, and I'm just going to use my scissors here. And I will save these because you never know when they come in handy. While we are waiting for the base to dry, I already painted it with glue. I was trying to figure out what color rocks I was going to use for the base. And what I decided that I want to use kind of like a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue, and have kind of like the rocks all the same texture, size, and you know, a little bit of swirl and color. So I'm only going to use two colors. I've talked before that I don't waste anything. So if there's any paint left over when I've been painting something, I put them in these little bottles. Some are big, some are this size, and some are a little bit smaller. So this one, as you might be able to see, has some purple and has some blue in it. And this one has a mix of different blues.
I don't want a large size rock. I want to use a smaller size. I think that would make it come together much better. The only small size rocks I have right now are these various shades of red gravel. So I'm going to use these to create the color that I want for the base. I've had videos before on the different techniques, but this is going to be happening during a project. So I'm not sure how many rocks I will need, so I'm just kind of pouring, and it's probably it's better to have more than you need than not enough. So, because you could always use these for other projects. I have a lot of projects that were what I thought were failures, but I'm saving them for something that maybe it won't fail. If you haven't watched my video on my rock painting techniques, I will put the link in the descriptions, but I will show you how to create a rock technique, painting technique. Now I'm using 2 colors, so the first thing I'm going to do, and of course the shade of red that's already on the paint. So I take a double bag, storage bag. I prepare a plastic container. This has plastic on it already, but I'm going to take this off because I'm going to use the plastic from the rocks itself. So I will set that aside for future use. I never waste anything if possible. So then I take some paint and I just kind of squirt it in, and a lot of this, since the purple's on top, it's coming out more on top. So I double bag it. Why? Because I want to reuse this bag to cover the plastic in, and also in case the inside bag breaks. So I am just kind of, I put the paint in, I'm mushing it around with my hands, and it's getting that, it's getting covered. So I have purple. So now these are mostly purple rocks, and if you look around you can kind of see which ones aren't painted yet. So now, because I don't care about, now if I wanted to add a lighter color and I didn't care that it would get all mishmash, I would dry these and then go through the technique again. So say I wanted a black and white kind of marble look on the rocks, then what I would do first is do the black and mush it all together. Then I would wait till they all dried, and then I would go back in and add white paint and move it all around. That's when you want light and dark, and you want both colors to stand out. This, it's not that kind of thing. This is mainly for a base and just to add a little, I don't know, pizzazz. Oh, that reminds me. What I could do for a pizzazz, excuse me, pizzazz, I have some glitter. I bought it at my local dollar store. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add just a hint of pizzazz to the color. I squirted the blue in. Now I'm taking the glitter and I am just dumping this whole package in. Now shake it up a little bit. Put that aside to pour out later. Okay. Now we have the blue squirted in and we've got some glitter. So it's time to mix it all up again. And you can see how it is forming. And you see purple, you can see blue. Okay, so my next step is I take the outer plastic bag and I use these plastic containers, and basically they're plastic containers used from when we ordered Chinese. I save them, not for to reuse for food or anything, but to use as crafts. So then the next step is you covered your plastic container. You can always buy them at the Dollar Tree, but I have them left over from Chinese food. Yay. I always tell my sons, don't throw that out. So, okay, so we have all the rocks. Now, the paint is contained, so that will get chucked in the garbage. And this is what we have. You can see there is a variety of colors. Purple and blue mixed together. So, so this dries. So this paint will dry. This paint will dry here. And I take a skewer, just a wooden skewer, and I kind of stir it around. And I do that at various points of its drying. I mean, sometimes they do stick together when they're completely dry. This also helps kind of even them out and let them dry, and then you mix them around. So this is the paint that will be used, or the rocks that will be used for the base. So probably once the rocks dry, the base will dry. And then we will go from there.